Let's get to Becky with a very special guest. Hey, Beck.
Hey, Joe. Hey, guys. Yes, Joe, I appreciate you wearing that scarf. It's very important because the man we're joined by right now is Boone Pickens. He is the one who sent us those scarves. Those are OSU scarves. And, Boone, thank you for joining us today.
Good. Great day. You know, every day is like this in Dallas. Can you believe it?
This is perfect weather. I have to admit, this is an absolutely beautiful day, and it's the perfect time to be here in Dallas talking with you. Oil prices touching above $127 a
They
barrel.
are?
Yeah, 127.10 was the last tick I looked, and I know you knew that before I knew that. What do you think of what's happening with oil prices right now?
They're going up.
You think they'll continue to climb at the rate they've been
They're going to go up because the people that have the oil want it to go up, and they're running out of oil. They're going to have 85 million barrels a day is all the world can produce. And the demand is 87 million. And it's that simple. It doesn't have anything to do with the value of the dollar. It's just a fact of supply and demand. That's it.
We had a gentleman on earlier this morning, Dr. Robert Hirsch, who's a big believer in peak oil. Are you basically of the same opinion that we've run out of oil and there's just no more to get?
You're not running out of oil. You have oil. But you can't get it above 85 billion. The Russians are starting to decline now. The Saudis claim they have more oil. They don't. The president wasted his time to go to Saudi Arabia and say, give us more oil. They can't give any more oil. They're giving all the oil they can. And they're stacking up the money as fast as they can stack it up. We are now paying out, listen to this number, $600 billion a year for oil.
America is.
Yes, it's 4 times the cost of the Iraqi war. And not one of the politicians running for president has anything to say about it. I don't know whether they don't know it or they don't want to mention it.
What do you think should be done, Boone?
We have only one fuel in the United States that can compete with oil, can reduce the import. Only one. It's natural gas. No others can do it. You know, you talk about ethanol, it's a joke. Ethanol will never amount to more than, at the most, 5% of all the oil used or fuel used in the United States. But the only fuel that can back out the imports is natural gas. And you could back out, I have a way to do it, and it's a legitimate way. It can happen. And you can reduce imports by 40%.
You're talking about clean energy? Your company for using natural gas for
No, I'm not weaving clean energy in here. I mean, this is big. This is for the United States of America, is how you get off of the imports of oil. You've got to do it with a natural resource within our own boundaries, an abundant one, where you've got these companies that are finding, these E&P companies, Chesapeake, Sand Ridge, Continental, you know, down the list, Exco, they're all finding more natural gas than they're producing. They have thousands of locations to drill, and we have plenty of natural gas.
How easy is it? Could we flip a switch as a nation and switch over to more natural gas and less crude oil?
Well, you've got it's a two-step deal. Wind is a big factor. The government did a study on wind in April of '07, which clearly shows that you can switch. You can put your additions to power generation on wind, which would be 20% of the power in the United States, which would be about 200,000 megawatts is what it'd be. Okay, when you do that, you can take natural gas out of power generation. When you take it out, it can go to transportation fuel. And when it does, you'll reduce imports by 40%.
You know, you're not just talking. You're not a lot of hot air here. You're somebody who's putting your money where your mouth is. We just had you on last week talking about, is it 667 wind turbines that you bought from General Electric?
It's the biggest order ever placed with General Electric.
And this is to build the largest wind farm in the nation.
That's right. It'd be at Pampa, Texas. Pampa is going to be the wind capital of the world.
The wind capital of the world, and you talk about that. You talk about other ways. You said there were 2 things that the nation needs to do, though, to switch over to natural gas. Wind is the first. What's the second?
Well, you've got to get into solar. We have to have something that we developed internally in America and not import all this crude oil. But $600 billion a year, in 10 years, we'll be broke. And I think that the $600 billion is at $100 oil.
Right.
So if you're going to have $150 oil, you're talking about $900 billion.
Is that where you think oil prices are headed this year?
Oh, I think you're going to go to 150, sure.
This year?
Yeah, I think you will.
wow. I mean, we talk about the momentum that we've seen. Is there nothing that can bring energy prices back down?
Well, why would they bring them back down? We're importing so much. We're crippled as far as energy is concerned, and we've allowed this to happen. And the reason it's happened is because of lack of leadership.
There are people who say that part of this is driven by speculators who have gotten in, people who have never been in oil before.
That doesn't have anything to do with it. It's 85 million barrels is all they have, and the world's using more than that.
85 million barrels a day.
That's right.
Is what the world consumes.
That's all. That's all you can do, and we're importing. We need more oil than 85 million barrels. The world does.
Boone, the last time we talked to you, I thought, not the last time, but the time before that, when you came on to talk about oil prices, I thought at that point you had gone short oil prices.
We were short. We tried to be very clever in the first quarter of the year, and we were wrong. We missed it, but we're right now.
So you're long oil prices now?
We're long, and all of our funds are in the black. We're making money.
Are you long on natural gas prices as well?
Yes, we are long natural gas.
You know, Ross Perot Jr. was just with us. He said that he thinks natural gas prices are at fair prices right now. He thinks oil prices would be fairer around $70. He thinks it's a bubble. He did defer to you. He said Boone will be on in a minute and he'll tell you where it's really going.
I don't think there's any bubble, but I mean, Ross Perot Jr. is a smart guy, and so it's his opinion, and I have mine. I have more experience than Ross Perot Jr. is. I'm about 30 years older than he is.
And that's why it may be so astounding for people to hear you talking about how you think we have to move to solar, we have to move to wind, we have to move to natural gas, because your whole life you've been known as an oil man.
I know, Becky, but we don't have the resources in America to take care of the energy problem here. So we have to get smart on how we're going to handle it. And you're going to have to go to wind, solar, you're going to have to clean up the coal. We have a little bit of oil, not much. They're not going to open up Anwar. That isn't going to happen. So it's, you know, it's we have to figure it out, and we have not done that. You know, in here talking about reducing taxes on gasoline for the summer, is that an energy plan? Hell no, it's not an energy plan. It's no plan at all. And, you know, it's amazing to me what politicians focus on. They ought to step back and look at the $600 billion a year that it's costing this country to buy oil.
You sound pretty frustrated with Washington right now. I know that you make a lot of trips to Washington. People there tell us that they talk to you all the time. Is anybody hearing your message?
I think I talk to them, they don't hear me. I think that's exactly, you analyze it perfectly. Nobody pays any attention to me.
Why?
I know what I'm talking about, though.
Why is that? Are politicians just not ready to suck up and realize the
Well,
real...
I still say politicians. I mean, what they think about is getting reelected or getting elected, one or the other. They're not thinking about how to solve the problems for energy in America. This is going to be a huge issue before you get to the November election day.
A huge issue before we get to November, but is there any candidate who you think is sitting up and listening?
On energy?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anybody say anything that's impressed me that they know much about it.
All right. Boone, will you stick around
Sure.
for this next commercial break? We'll have more?
Sure, good.
Okay, guys, we will have more with Mr. Pickens after this break.
I got to thank Joe and Carl.
Yeah?
Guys, I appreciate the OSU support.
Yes.
We're going to have a fabulous football season.
A fabulous football season. We will talk more about OSU when we come right back. There's a shot of the tie. Is that Carl?
That's me. Does Joe have his?
I believe it. Yeah, Joe has my scarf. He does not have that. There's Joe's scarf. He's wearing it and ready to go. And I promise Boone, the next time he's in the studio, all three of us will have our scarves and/or ties on. We're going to talk more about this when we come back. We're also going to find out from Mr. Pickens what he thinks about his good friend Carl Icahn's move into Yahoo shares.